that seemed to be in a predicament that someone pretty much seemed to be putting information in her ear that was of a directive type of situation. And it went on to show our main character. And the main character of the film was a teenager that seemed to be doing what any normal teenagers do when it comes to going to a part-time job. In the midst of him going to this part-time job, he seemed to be in his moments of privacy from his sister, and he also seemed to have a certain type of developing relation or liking towards his manager. But all in all, he had a thing about his sister being within his privacy. He was very hostile when it came to things of her taking, and there were moments where it seemed he wanted to have his privacy moments for masturbation purposes, as any normal teen may have a enticement to do. So in the midst of his sister sneaking to use his laptop, there was an situation where he had to delete some spyware that apparently leaked on the laptop, not knowing that that would be basically the thrill ride to his livelihood. So after he did his business with the door closed and basically masturbating in his private area, he got an email of someone stating they saw what he did. He got surprisingly very shaken up and nervous. And these persons of the unknown stated to him that if he did not do what he was told, that they would leak the video of him supposedly masturbating. This set him off. Basically, he was so terrified. And from there, he was not too long after given a task where he had to basically stop what he was doing in his tracks and follow this route to a destination point. He had to tell his manager that he had to go home because he was feeling sick, and just from the way he was feeling about the situation, I really do think that he was ready to hurl one over. So as he desperately went to the destination spot, he was on he got to this spot, and there was a gentleman holding on to a box. And this gentleman handed the box over to him. And he also was a part of this supposed game from the unknown. So this man really didn't have information on who was supposedly holding these video leaks against them. All he was able to tell him was that he accomplished his task and that he would be getting a text momentarily. And also something that was meant at this point within this episode was that a picture had to be taken of the other person involved within this basically game, and basically stating that this was accomplished, the task at hand. So as he got this box, he had to take off on a bus in order to get to the next destination without messing what was in the box up, because it was supposed to be fragile material. So as he was on the bus in a very nervous and panic state, he opened the box to see that it was actually a cake. And he got to the destination, which was a hotel room. When he went to knock on the door of the room, a man was at the door and stated for him to leave. The people of the unknown told him to yell out the name Mindy and say that this box, this gift, was from a Mindy. So as that was said, the man at the door let this teenager in, and they started to explain to each other their stories of what these leaks were supposedly about, and the man stated that he actually slept with a prostitute named Mindy, and that he could not let this get back to his wife because he felt that his children, as well as her, would be taken away, and he could not live with himself without his children. And we were also told by the main character that basically he masturbated and he didn't want that to be taken to the public, because the persons of the unknown stated that they would leak his masturbation videotape to all of his contacts. And the same was said to the man within the hotel room. So they were given their next task, which was to take a unknown vehicle to a destination. spot to be dropped off was not too far from their destination. They went on with taking her with them. As they took her throughout the destination, they were getting quite a bit of texts from the people of the unknown that were stating they were going the wrong way. And they told them that they had to make it to the deadline when said to. So they began to really rush to the family friends drop off spot. She did notice just how nervous they both were. And after they dropped her off, they got to the destination point, which was they needed to perform a robbery on a national bank. They were given a coverage, and the persons of the unknown told them that it had to be one driver and one robber, and that they had 5 minutes in order to pick who would do what. The nervousness overwhelmed the young teenager to the point where he had to really kind of be focused back into reality and what needed to be done. The man that was in the hotel said that he would do anything in order for his tape to not be leaked. And we could see that the teenager had so much fear in his eyes. But the man from the hotel really brought up that he didn't understand why just a masturbation tape would be so deplorable in his eyes. But he did use that on the teenager in order to get him to focus back in on accomplishing this task of getting the money out of this bank. So the teenager actually went through the steps of robbing this bank by putting on a cap and some glasses, which really did not cover too much in order to not see who he was. But he was terrified to the point where he actually peed while trying to get money out of this bank, but he accomplished it. And he moved on forwards. So after the money was gotten, their next rendezvous point was to get rid of the vehicle, which was the getaway car for the bank, and also they had to give the money and get it to the destination. So at this next destination point, as the teenager still had so much terrifying looks in his eyes, this next point showed it was pretty much a man that brought a drone, and with this drone they had to fight each other to the death, which was told by the persons unknown. said that the tape that he did not want to get leaked out was him watching pretty much kids in a sexual manner. So they end up fighting, and after everything was said and done, these fights, within the fight, apparently they had to fight to the death, and the teenager ended up completing the task. And after that occurred, it was thought that everything was going to be done. The money had reached the rendezvous point, apparently. But as the teenager walked, he received a message that was of a grin, as well as the man from the hotel as he reached his home destination. And when the man from the hotel went in his home, he saw his daughter resting peacefully, but his wife was staring at an open laptop, and she revealed who was Mindy and that she knew everything. He received that grin. Basically, all of the information had been leaked, and we found out that our teenager was not just masturbating to a porn video, but in our terror, we heard from his mother, as she called him, that he was masturbating to young children, as well as the man that he had to kill in order for his information not to be leaked. This was one thrill ride. It was a cat and mouse thriller that really showed that some people can withhold some dark secrets and never want them to be revealed. They will do whatever they can in order for these secrets to not come out into the daylight. Please let me know how you feel about this episode, and if you found it to be quite mysterious and not knowing just who these people were of the unknown. After everything, do you feel that they should have revealed all of their information? After they actually completed the task, or was everybody that was involved at fault for doing such devious deeds and unexcusable acts? What a video. What an episode, I gotta say. Black Mirror never ceased to disappoint. This episode's name was Shut Up and Dance. A very standard cat and mouse thriller. I knew that the main character had terror in his eyes for a reason. Thank you all so much for joining me. this watermelon has been hella sweet. Bye bye.